Well, hello everyone. We are excited to have you here today for this particular session. Happy Friday to you. My name is Lisa Sims, and I'm a lead faculty in the Technology Studies Department at the University of Arizona Global Campus. And I'm pleased to welcome you to this session. Same company, different reality, measuring and diagnosing leader employee perception gaps that stall with Joyce Arly Anderson. And we're going to have Q&A at the end of the presentation, but you can still put your questions in the chat. And so now I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Arly.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for attending my presentation today. So I don't want to talk at you. I do want to hear some of your interests and your ideas. This is an ongoing project for me as well. I was offered a fellowship at the Department of Homeland Security with the previous administration, and they tasked me with a project for gauging employee satisfaction and engagement and measuring it with leadership perceptions. So, as it turns out, there isn't an exact science to measuring how your employees and your team and your workforce feels and how supported and how satisfied they feel, and measure that against how leadership believes that they're doing. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, there's a pretty big gap there. And what I was tasked with doing was creating a workable tool or a sizable model that could be scaled upon and built larger to be able to track that. So that's what we're going to briefly kind of talk about today. And please ask questions in the chat. I cannot see them right now, but I think I might be able to see like your reactions, or maybe Miss Sims will let me know. So let's go ahead and kind of get started. Just really briefly, a run through of what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about spotting the gap, which is essentially, we'll move through this quickly. So we'll talk about spotting the gap, the measurement, how to diagnose it, with how to use the rubric, and then we'll decide on what steps to take going forward. So just quickly about me, I am a doctoral candidate. My project is all about this, looking at it from a lens of corporate and healthcare perspectives, sports perspectives. It's really actually very effective across industries, and that's what's so fascinating about it. Performance, it's not just, people think sports, but performance is it goes from a variety of disciplines. Okay, so let's move forward. There we go. Okay, so before we get into the project, let's just take a quick second to just tap in to see what you guys feel. So in the chat, drop one word if you could into the chat when you hear employee engagement. What's the first word that comes to mind? So we'll go start with that first. If you would, just quickly drop it in the chat. I can't quite see the chat.
We've
Okay.
got, and I'll tell you what we've got coming in. We've got important, we've got commitment, involved.
Okay. Okay.
The
Good. I love
yeah,
I
that's
love it. Yes.
yeah.
All great. Oops. Let's go back one side. Okay. So next in the chat, what do you think happens more often? Leaders either overestimate, underestimate, or do you think they accurately describe employee engagement? Oops, I don't know why I keep doing that. Okay. Just your thoughts on that.
Oh.
So I don't know about you guys, but I have been in the corporate space for a while. There's always this really interesting idea that leadership thinks we're doing great. Everyone's on board, everyone's supported. Okay, I've seen some things in the chat. Underestimate, underestimate. We've got one,
Yeah,
overestimate.
seems like
Oh,
overestimate is leading the pack.
oh, it does. It does. Well, I mean, okay, overestimate. Right. So friendly, friendly brain. That's right. So yes, that is, believe it or not, according to a Gallup poll, there is an 80% disparity in what leadership thinks that they're doing and how well they think they're organizing the company, how well they think engagement and satisfaction is running, versus employees who are completely unsupported. There's no professional development. The communication you've got from multiple different facets completely there's that big gap. And what we call that gap, what I've started calling that gap is the perception gap. And that's what we're getting ready to talk about right now. Thank you guys for your feedback. Okay, so let's move on. Now it doesn't want to go. All of the time it wanted to go before, now it doesn't. Okay, here we are. Okay, so let's talk about that, what leaders believe. Move on. Okay. So leadership companies, they think that the workload is sustainable. They believe that it's consistent. They believe that communication is aligned and all voices from the teams are welcomed and heard, and the growth paths are clear. That's the professional development. That's making sure that everyone is aligned with what they want to, where their goals are, how they're being managed, and how care is being delivered across teams. However, on the other side, the different reality, this is what our team is experiencing. Our team experiences back to back, completely oppositional demands, no rest. Well, it does say things, but what I really mean is recognition. I think I've heard that word used in other presentations today, and that's true. Recognition is lacking. Speaking up feels risky. Let's go back. My fingers are showing. And there's a retaliatory. So this speaks on psychological safety. There's a lack of psychological safety, and that's what creates that big gap. So in the bottom, the goal is not to feel nicer, it's to diagnose the mismatch. So that's what we're going to look into. Okay. Moving forward, let's go with gap. Okay. So gap stalls care by distorting decisions. Okay. Oh, did I miss something? Hello?
Well, your screen went completely blank except for a blue background. That's what we're seeing.
Okay, but you can still hear me.
Yes, yeah, we could. Well, wait a minute. You're frozen. I can hear you, but you're frozen.
Oh gosh. Okay. I mean, I can still myself. I can see the presentation.
Uh, hang tight, everybody. We have a little technical difficulty. Arly's gonna log back in, so just bear with us. I don't know any good jokes at this time, but so, but we will be back momentarily. Well, I guess while we're waiting, if you can I know Dr. Beach, yes, it's technology is a wonderful thing when it works correctly. Oh, but yes, it is. It is it is a challenging thing. I've had my share of challenges with technology this week. Particularly last night, my computer froze when I was trying to submit an assignment for my doctoral program, and I was 15 minutes before the deadline. Talk about sweating. All right. Well, I tell you what, in the chat while we're yeah, stressful. Yes, it was stressful. Yes, they do have it at the most inopportune time, but we just have to roll with the punches. Unfortunately, I don't have Arly's presentation so that I could show it and everything. We'll give her a few more minutes to come back in. I have a year to go. So my kids, they're all excited and everything. They're like, I'm ready to go. It's like I want to see what the process is like. I'm like, yeah, me too. I'm like, it's new for me too. So we're gonna make it a big family affair and everything. Yeah, I'm in the home stretch, so I'm excited. I'm excited. It took faith to start, and it took resilience to keep going, and so I'm inspiring my kids. Well, I'm actually getting a Doctor of Business Administration and Information Systems. And so one of the good things, I want to be able to use that to help kids with autism. I'm going to be presenting on May 1st at my alma mater, Georgia State University. They're having an autism conference. And so I'm going to be presenting on planning positivity, how AI is opening new pathways for autism growth. And so I'm looking forward to doing that for my son and for the autism community. So it's going to be great. Well, congratulations, Lynette or Dr. Dawson. Well, guys, hmm. And thank you, Dr. Rochelle. I can't wait either. I'm planning the party in my head. I'm already going to get a lawn sign that says "Congratulations, Dr. Lisa," and it's coming together in my head. So I just have to stay the course. Well, guys, well, hmm. Give me a second. Let me check my email to see if I've seen something from Arly. Give me 1 second. Well, that is awesome, Zach. That is very awesome. Well, I don't want to hold you up. I was thinking, yeah, the only thing about the presentation at Georgia State, and you would think that they would have the option to live stream it and everything, but they don't. So I'm going to see if I know they're recording it. So once I get it from them, I'll definitely share. I'll share the link. You would think that they would live stream it, but I don't know. Well, I thought Arly was. I don't want to hold you, but I want to give Arly time to present her presentation. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna hang here too. I've done 3 of these today, and this is my first one that has gone like this. But I'm gonna hang around. Hopefully she can pop back in. I know how challenging the internet. Well, thank you, Zay. I've been running off of cups of coffee, cups of coffee, and a piece of chocolate. So the meal of champions, I guess. Well, all right. Anybody have any big Easter plans? Yes, I saw your coffee. No, I haven't had a chance to get my sweet tarts yet, and I'll get them this weekend. I usually go to the Dollar Tree and get my sweet tarts from the Dollar Tree. Anyone have little small kids that are doing Easter egg hunts? My kids are 9 and 13, so we're kind of outgrown the Easter egg hunt. Okay, all right. Yeah, we did a couple of those. We did one on a baseball field with my oldest, and it was he and I remember that I was holding his hand, and I was like, you got to get the egg, and and so it was, he wasn't too enthused about Easter egg hunts at that time. I think he was about three. So he 3 or 4. He didn't get the concept. So well now see, I would like that kind of Easter egg hunt with the money in the eggs. Now I would do that. I would I would gladly do that kind of Easter egg hunt. Oh, that would make it all worthwhile. All right. I don't think that Arlie is going to I'm going to stay right here, but you know, I don't want to hold anyone from going to another session. I deeply apologize for our technical difficulty that we have experienced. You know, hey, technology is great when it works, and then sometimes it goes awry. So we roll with the punches. That's what we do. So, yep. Well, I don't know. Anybody gonna binge any Netflix movies this weekend? I'll probably try to get one in. No. Well, I do appreciate everyone's patience and understanding during this time. Haven't seen a message yet. Five Nights at Freddy's too. Okay, I might have to check that out. Lots of cooking ahead. Yeah, I need to place the honey baked ham order. Everybody's looking at me and like, what are we having for Easter dinner? I'm like, well, honey baked to the rescue. Oh, so that's what I'm. I'll get the meats from there and then cook the sides. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, promising. Arlie is back. Arlie is back. Arlie, can you hear us? Or can you hear me?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh my goodness. So my computer has been perfectly fine the entirety of the conference, and while I'm presenting, it decides to just automatically update in the middle. And I'm trying to stop it while I'm presenting, but thank you guys so much for just
Hey, no problem. Hey, I did all my, I didn't do any jokes because my son, my
I had to
son,
utilize one of the techniques that one of the presenters, I think it was Troy Ellis, gave the other day about just being mindful, being able to take those breaths as I'm freaking out
yeah,
in the middle of
that's
my presentation. I don't know how much time I even have to share it.
well. Hey,
Um,
you've got about 10 minutes. I think you can do it. I believe in you. You can do it.
I'll run through.
You can do it.
Okay. Here we are. I think we're here. I know we lost some people. Sorry, folks. Hope you had a chance to maybe get some lunch during that break. Um, where are we? Okay. So let's go back. So we're talking about why the perception gap matters. So perception gaps, as we know, they create friction, and it's oftentimes it's invisible. We don't know that it's happening between the leadership team and our employees or our workforce. And that's what makes it so important to be able to understand and recognize. So the question is, how do you determine what the gap is and where it is, and how do you address it? So this is what I created. It's behaviorally based surveys. So we'll go on to the next slide. They're behaviorally based surveys that they survey the employee's feeling and satisfaction score. And then that score is comparatively measured with the leadership team. So the leadership team takes the same assessment scores on what they believe that their strengths are, how they believe that they are engaging with the team. And that's where you find the gap measurement. I use these variables, which any team can use a variety of variables. My choice was clarity. That's one level. The next domain is resources. What do I have to do the quality work? Recognition. Is my work being recognized? Am I being um, championed for what I bring to the team? Secondly, your voice and say that's the psychological safety that we mentioned before we were cut off. And then lastly is growth, or that's the professional development. Am I learning? Am I developing? Are the resources available to progress, not only to show up in this role, but am I allowed the spaces to grow for my next role? So we don't really have much time since we're on a limited time schedule. We're going to skip over this just a little bit and go straight into how do we get that. So this is called, many of you have taken surveys. Let me know in the chat if you've ever been asked to rate your level of service. They'll ask you, maybe if you purchased an item from, or if you went to purchase something from maybe a car, they'll ask you, how was your level of service? Did we meet your needs today? And what they're using is something called a net promoter score. It lets you know whether you have a promoter, a passive, or a detractor score. And that's not used in the workforce. So I took that idea and created, they call it the ENPS. There is a version of this, but it's not weighted in the way that I use it. Any questions so far on what that looks like when you now, okay, I don't see anything in chat. So we'll move forward for the sake of time. Okay. And this is what that ENPS looks like. So here we have the blue and the green. So the blue are the leaders and the green are what the employees feel. So in terms of the workload, how balanced is the workload? The employees have said they're at level 3. So they feel like the workload is a bit much. However, the leadership team has a score of 4. So there's a little bit of a gap there. Moving on to recognition, again, same gap. Moving on to voice and safety, they're same gap. So this is a common theme that we see in the workforce. Employees, your team has one idea of how the supported they are, how the on to the next slide. I'm trying to rush through. I'm not moving too quickly. I was trying to get through most of this before we conclude. But 2 truths, 2 questions, and 1 truth. Hold on one second, guys. I think I'm moving too quickly. Unfortunately, I've moved past the slide that I was supposed to be talking about. Are there any questions on that so far? I think I've moved past the slide and the momentum. I've lost the momentum for the presentation. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Dr. Sims, are you still with us?
I'm still here.